Hello to every one of you. Hello, TSSG family. Hello, TSSG family. You're in the TSSG space. Well, hello, TSSG family. Sunday school. Changing the way you see Sunday school with that Sunday school girl. Well, hello, TSSG family, and welcome to Markup Monday, the COGIC edition. My name is Waynell. You're in the TSSG space. Here I share Christian content that is largely inspired by and or based on our Sunday school lessons. And I am here to share space with you all for just a little bit on our Markup Monday. I learned last week that there was a preference for the 6 o'clock time frame. So I'm here for it because it frees up my evening a little bit earlier, and I'm all for that. So glad for those of you who are able to be on. I see you're coming in. Dr. Amos, you've got the #1 slot tonight. Hello, Sister Patricia, Evangelist Glenn. Y'all clap it up in the comments for Evangelist Glenn. Thank you so much for sharing the lesson with us on this past Sunday. Hey, Sister Watson there, Sister Angela. Glad that you all are on. Reverend Nelson. Hey there. Hey, Reverend Nelson. I've been thinking about you because I thought I might be coming to your city, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to make it. I had a cousin to pass away there. In fact, I'll dedicate this to the memory of the Reverend Donald Mitchell Wyatt in Omaha, Nebraska. Passed away last week. That's my mom's first cousin. So I pray you all are well. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and get started. This will be good tonight. Because of Reverend Nelson, this was not my plan to continue to use a PowerPoint, but I created it again this week just to kind of walk you through. Mother Everett, hey, I got the text message and I sent one back to you. That made me smile. Thank you so much. But we're going to hop into into the COGIC lesson for this week, which is no rest for the wicked. No rest for the wicked. We'll be in Micah Chapter 2, verses 4 through 11. I am going to pull up this PowerPoint, but I do have my commentary right here. So if you see me look down, that's what I'm doing. If you've never been on Markup Monday before, hey, Sister Regina. If you've never been on Markup Monday, and Sister Jewel Ward, hi. I am not here tonight to teach the lesson. We're going to read through it. We're going to read a couple of verses at a time. I've already gone through, and I'm just showing you a few things that I saw, what I thought about, what I want to know more about. And what I felt, emotions that I felt, things that I observed. And that becomes sort of my thought document for the week that walks me through my study. And it's always my hope that since we start here early together, that you'll do the same and create a study pattern, a routine, a habit that works for you. I want to say thank you to everybody who joined yesterday morning. There were so many of you from the TSSG space who joined Pastor Rodney Jones. It actually went live on my channel for like 13 seconds, but the full video is on his channel where I came together with him, his brother, Sir Walter Jones, and Dr. Devon Jackson, and we are the Sunday School Dream Team. So if you missed that, please go check it out. And please make sure that you're subscribed, not only to my channel, but support all of these other COGIC YouTubers. I shared something on my page that I think is apropos because every one of us approaches teaching differently. And I think that you can gain something from every single one of us. So we all kind of have a different style, but you can check that out. Thank you so much, Sister Watson. I appreciate that. Let's pray. And we're going to get into this on tonight. Let me just disclose something to you all. I was trying to sort of push my way through it. If I had to rate myself today in terms of mood and mental health, I would give myself a good solid 8. A good solid 8. So I want to say that up front because every day and everybody's life is not rainbows and bunnies. And today is an 8 for me. So I'm not on 10 today. I'm on an 8. So I want to say that up front. So you just got to work with me and call my name when you pray. Oh, wait, before I get into it, I posted this as well today. Let me see if I can find it. I should have had this pulled up. How many of you all are going to the AIM convention? How many of you all will I see next week in Phoenix, Arizona? I hope that you will come see the ISSD. Honor to our president, President Ellis, our new field rep, Lady Shelby. There is a fantastic program that's aligned for next week. And if you're going to be there, I would love to see you. I'm teaching on Wednesday and on Friday. My class is on Christology. So I'll be teaching 3 times each day, 9:30, 10:30, and 11:30. 9:30, 10:30, and 11:30. Phoenix time. I was going to say Arizona time. Phoenix, Arizona time. So please, I would love to see you there. And y'all know, if you see me at all, please come say hello. I've had folks say, I saw you, but I didn't want to bother you. Or I saw you and I didn't know. No, please. Tap me, bring your phone and say, let's get this selfie. I would love to see y'all there. Thank you so much, Reverend Nelson. I appreciate that. And thank you so much, Dr. Amos. All right. Hey, Sister Cassandra. Glad you're on. Father, we love you and we thank you on tonight. Thank you for our community and allowing us to come together. We thank you for this day and allowing us to go through it. Thank you for your presence with us. No matter what is going on in our lives, your presence is comforting. And I thank you tonight for the gift of your spirit. I thank you tonight that your spirit allows me to be different and to behave differently and to process differently because I know that you have no defeats planned for my life. I pray that you'll bless all of us tonight as we are in this time previewing your word. Expand our capacity to understand your word and expand our desire to spend time in your word. Don't allow us to just be speed readers and reading through books and commentaries just to get through a week. But God, allow your word to take root in our hearts and resonate in our lives. We love you tonight and we give you glory in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, let's go. We're going to Micah chapter 4, verses 4 through 11. In that day shall one take up a parable against you and lament with a doleful lamentation and say, we be utterly spoiled. He hath changed the portion of my people, how he hath removed it from me. Turning away, he hath divided our fields. Therefore thou shalt have none that shall cast a cord by lot in the congregation of the Lord. Prophesy ye not. Say to them that prophesy, they shall not prophesy to them. They shall not take shame. O thou that are named the house of Jacob, is the spirit of the Lord straitened? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to him and that walk uprightly? Even of late, my people is risen up as an enemy. Ye pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by securely as men averse from war. The women of my people have ye cast out from their pleasant houses, for their children had ye taken away my glory forever. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with sore destruction. If a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and of strong drink, he shall even be the prophet of this people. This is our reading for this week. And I'm going to tell you what, if that wasn't super King Jamesy, I don't know what is. And we're going to get into this. And thank you so much, Sister Ward. You said this has really helped me to better understand the Sunday school lesson. You're so excited on Sunday morning to get to Sunday school to share. Oh, thank you for that. I love that. And that is what this channel is all about. If you remember when I first started out, if you were with me 10 years ago, I was not even a teacher at the time. I was a student and I would prepare these short 15-minute videos and I would tell you 15 minutes with me was just enough to be dangerous. But I'm excited about expansion, not just in terms of viewers and things like that, but literally like my capacity for the word. I think it is a blessing and I love the treasure hunt of the word. So let's go. First of all, we're in a new book of study. So before I even jump into my markup, and I need to include this if I'm going to use this PowerPoint. And y'all tell me, Reverend Nelson gave his opinion last week. Y'all tell me if you like this PowerPoint situation or not. I'm not fancy like Dr. Jones. I don't have my Apple Pen out and all that stuff. Maybe one day I'll think about all that, but it's not today. But if you like this format, let me know that. But whenever you're going into a new book of study, so we're out of Amos now, and we're going into the book of Micah. Whenever you're in a new book of study, you can tell me in the chat what you like to know in terms of background. I always like to know, am I in the Old Testament? Am I in the New Testament? What type of book is this? I know it is going to be one of the prophets. Spoiler alert, you'll want to figure out, is it a major prophet or a minor prophet? I like to know about the prophet. So what is his life? Where did he come from? What are his parents like? What did he do for a living? What's the community around him like? And I like to know things about to whom they are prophesying. So who is the audience? what is going on in those times, anything going on in government, what is the community like that they live in. And I am now asking this particular question, and you'll see this if you download my TSSG notes. I will say, how are these people like us today? How are these people like us today? Hello, Sister Linda Collins Hughes. Thank you for watching from Mississippi. Hey, Cornique Barnes, hello there. Glad to see you on. Yes, Evangelist Glenn, who are the characters in the text? Absolutely. Who is speaking, Sister Latasha? For sure. So those are things that you'll want to explore in your background. If you look at my notes, the background is always substantive enough that if I have to teach this lesson again, or if I've got to speak somewhere and I'm using that particular passage, my Sunday school notes are almost enough for me to go and take a text on. And I try to prepare in that way because I like the treasure hunt of the word. Let's get into Micah chapter 2. All right, first 2 verses. And what we're going to look at, you tell me, what do you see, feel, think about? What does it remind you of? What do you want to know more about? Enlarge my screen here. In that day shall one take up a parable against you and lament with a doleful lamentation and say, we be utterly spoiled. He hath changed the portion of my people, how he hath removed it from me. Turning away, he hath divided our fields. Therefore, thou shalt have none that shall cast a cord by lot in the congregation of the Lord. Hey, cheerleader for Christ. I'm so glad to see you on Evangelist Sharia. It has been a while. I'm glad you're here. Looks like the 6 o'clock time is absolutely much better. And by the way, did y'all click that thumbs up like button yet? Did you share this with anybody? Just click the thumbs up like button. Come on. First steps first. And if you're a first timer in the spirit of first, say hello to us in the chat and watch the love that will get around you. What is a parable? What is a lamentation? Sister Angela asked. In what day? And who is he? Evangelist Glenn asked. Yes, Dr. Amos, you have been super loyal. Absolutely. Hello, Brother Timothy Mills from Florida. All right. So I kind of identify my cast of characters as well. I want to know the same thing that Sister Angela wanted to know. Oh, no, it was Sister Glenn, Evangelist Glenn. No, Sister Latasha. Who is speaking, right? The fact that the person uses the words you means that he is addressing an audience of people. So I want to understand who these people are. There's a reference of my people. So I want to get my mind around that. And they have an assignment. Who are those who take up a parable? And I'm with you. What is a parable? There's a parable here that is being spoken against the people. I also saw the word lamenting. And then it says, people say they are utterly spoiled. I want to know what that means. And I want to know what it means that fields are being divided and taken. Like it says, he had divided our fields. So what is that about? Who has divided these fields? Why are they taking them away? I look for words of emotion in the text. So doleful, lamentation. Doleful was an adjective, and that's not a word I use every day. So I want to know what that's about. I see spoiled on here. I see removed. And some of these are verbs more than emotions. I should have said actions and emotions. Turning away feels heavy for me, right? And when I think about being turned away, I think about like grief and betrayal and despair. Images that I see here in the text are the image of the fields. I see the image of land being taken away. I want to know what these cords used for dividing land means. And when I think about dividing our fields, y'all know I was with my family a couple of weeks ago in Arkansas. And I think about the fact that like my grandparents had this farm and there were 12 children. And so we think about like, what does that mean for everyone to have access to the land, or how is it divided? Is this my portion? Is this yours? So that's kind of what was spinning in my head when I read like about land being divided. And then I see this idea of communal mourning that's in here. Reverend Nelson says, what is a parable, and how is a parable taken up against you, and who is the you against which the parable is being taken? What is the cause for the change? Yeah, what has prompted all of this? And Evangelist Glenn, thank you for that, because first of all, we're in chapter 2 of Micah. Please don't be a lazy student. Read chapter 1 and don't just jump into verse 4. But what has happened before then, right? So when it starts even within that day, first question I really should have asked was, in what day? What is that day? All right. What kings did he speak to? That's a question about the prophet who's prophesying. Absolutely. Absolutely. Reverend Nelson says in verse 2, there is a therefore. And when we see a therefore, we need to figure out what is therefore. And what does it mean to cast a cord? Great question. Great question. So what did this passage make me feel? I just told you I've been thinking a lot about my family because I was just with them. And I think about, like, let me keep this high level. I am so sensitive to the fact that my grandparents and my great-grandparents worked hard for things. And so I am starting to feel a responsibility of not losing what was sacred to them, right? So whether that is being with my mom's family in Arkansas, or even the fact that, like, we still have my grandfather's home and my grandparents' home in Kansas City. My brother is the pastor of the church that my grandfather led. And I just think about, like, I feel like this responsibility of not losing what was sacred and what they worked hard for. And in this case, it's like land or like legacy. So I think it felt personal for me. And so I that's a pain that I don't want to feel, because it's a responsibility that I think I carry today. Why did God send Micah to charge who of what? Yeah, what are they being charged for? What have they done? And that's why I asked that question, Dr. Amos. Like, who are these people and how are they like us? Like, what are their mistakes? What is God trying to correct? Because I also think, in terms of background, about the fact that God doesn't send prophets because he doesn't have anything to do. He's usually using a prophet to get his people's attention. So I kind of want to know too, like, what has their attention? What has them distracted? How is God using this prophet to sort of nudge them back around and try to get them to where they need to be? Back to what I feel, this whole feeling of responsibility and holding on to land. And let me just tell you this. If you got a family who has land, one thing they are not making more of, I had a friend who said this to me once, but I think his grandfather said it to him, they're not making any more land. Right. So I do think about gentrification. My niece and I had a conversation just this weekend, and how a rising senior in high school was thinking about, and I know this term, hold on here. Wait a minute. Hold on. It's a legal term. It's not gentrification. Hold on. Let me think about, it's a domain term. It's like when they come and take your land for public domain, when they're going to build something citywide. And we had a conversation about that. And I was surprised that she even paid attention to things like that. So, and again, just the idea of losing connection to heritage. All right. I think you asked some of these questions as well. Who is he that removed the portion? Is it God? Is it someone who invaded? Is the parable being used as like something literal? Is it satire? What is this about? And I asked the same question, Reverend Nelson, what does it mean to be cast a cord by lot, cast a cord by lot? And why is that a big deal? Like, why is that here? Eminent domain. It just came to me. I told you. Just give me a second. Yeah, we had a conversation about eminent domain. So anyway, I guess I've been discussing property lately. All right, anything else? I'm going to move on to my next slide. Let's go to verses 6 and 7. Prophesy ye not, say they to them that prophesy. They shall not prophesy to them, that they shall not take shame. Oh, that thou art named the house of Jacob. Is the spirit of the Lord straitened? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to him that walketh uprightly. So there I kind of identify like my cast of characters. There is a they that I've added to my cast of characters. Who are they, right? Who are these they that reject prophecy? Who is this house of Jacob? I notice again, the action that I see is that whoever they are, they reject prophecy. They're attempting to silence prophecy. I see a question here, or at least a question of kind of their behavior. And he also seems to remind them of God's character. Kind of action, emotion-y things that I see. I do see rebellion. Rejection is rebellion to me. Yeah, there it is, Evangelist Sharia, eminent domain. You got it. I think I see a little bit of pride here. And even though I said spiritual confusion, it was more than that. I don't always credit rejection and confusion as the same thing. So I don't think I had really the right word to express what I was thinking, but spiritual decline, maybe that's a word, or apathy. Maybe that's a better word. Spiritual apathy. That would have been a better choice of words for me. I see silencing of truth tellers and sort of a spiritual block, a wall, if you will, a restriction. And there's this phrase that stood out to me, is the spirit of the Lord straightened. And I want to dig into that and know what that means. Yeah. So Latasha says it sounds so emotional. And I agree with you. I said it feels like really tense because there is this like tension between truth and denial, like God's justice and these people who are resisting. So there are definitely like these two sides of the fence kind of feeling, if you will, as you read this for me. Why do they not want the prophecy? Why are they rejecting it? Right, Evangelist Glenn? That's a great question right there. So when we talk about people who reject, like they don't want what God is sending, for me, it reminds me of people who only want to hear the preacher or only want to hear the prophet when it's money, houses, and cars, right? But they don't want to hear, get right with God and do it now. They don't want to hear when God is not pleased. They only like the good stuff. One question that stood out for me is, do not my words do good? And it just, again, for me, it kind of felt like a parent, like, don't you realize, is my word not rationing with someone? That's kind of how it felt. So it felt like someone trying to reason with someone who is prophesying the same time as Micah. Great question, Dr. Amos. I love it. I also wondered, same thing as Evangelist Glenn, why don't they want the prophets to speak? What does it mean that the spirit is not straightened? I already asked that. And then who walks uprightly in this context? That's at the end of verse 7. To him who walketh uprightly. Who is that person? Or what does that look like? All right. And moving forward, let's go to verses 8 and 9. You hear two standards, those people versus God. I agree with that, Reverend Nelson. There are definitely two sides of the coin here. Absolutely. Verses 8 and 9, even of late, my people is risen up as an enemy. Ye pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by securely as men averse from war. The women of my people have ye cast out from their pleasant houses. From their children have ye taken away my glory forever. I'll get to what I was thinking at the end of that. Let's see if you all are saying anything here. So there is my people that are listed here, and my people are now acting like enemies. And it's interesting to be called my people, but they're not acting like my people. They're acting like enemies. And in this passage, I notice that there are women and children that are identified, but I also see that there's harm to them, right? And that's why I said I would hold for just a second. But the harms that I see are they've been put out of their homes and their children have been taken away from my glory forever. So that feels like harmful language to these parties. I see like things taken away. That is a robbery to me, right? I definitely see violence when I see like people have been cast out from their homes. Like the words that I used here are like violent and robbery for sure, but specifically like taking away, like stealing from children, to take away from children, to put women out, removing people from their homes. Like that feels hurtful to me. It feels like definitely exploitation when I look at these parties. And women and children for me are vulnerable parties, especially in scripture, right? So that's just how that feels as I read it. And for me, it makes me sad, right? I don't want any woman and her children to be out. I don't want things taken from children. I advocate for women and children. That's what I do. So let's see here. Yeah, injustice, Sister Patricia, absolutely, all over, all right? And it reflects the severity, Evangelist Glenn says, absolutely. Great question, Sister Latasha. How do God's people become the enemy? These are my people, but they're acting now as enemies. So how does that happen? What does that look like, right? So that's that phrase here. They're risen up as an enemy. So again, what does that look like? I think this feels, someone already, Sister Patricia said it, it feels like injustice, right? Like God's people, my people acting as my enemy. How do I know they're acting as my enemy? Here's the type of behavior. Here's what that looks like when they behave as people who don't represent me, right? And these people who I'm not teaching, but notice, like, as I read, these are people who have been identified as my people, yet they're hurting their own people. When I read this text, God's people are hurting their own. And so these whole series of lessons, right, have really made me think about systemic injustice. It's made me think about when we hurt our own communities, and what I labeled as like internal oppression. And there are a lot of things, I don't want to get off the subject tonight, but there are a lot of things that we need to advocate for in our community, but there are a lot of things inside of even our own communities that we are responsible for. So that's kind of what it made me think of with this. And I already told you that it felt really hard for me to think about, like, not like stuff being taken from children. I told you I would come back to this, but that was a provocative idea to me, that it was God's glory being taken away forever. Like, what is that? Right? And forever reflects the severity, Evangelist Glenn says. Absolutely. Forever. How can false standards set by others impact how we treat one another? I like that, Reverend Nelson. So I wanted to know, what is my glory referring to? When you say that his glory, my glory is being taken away from the children, what is that about? Is it like his presence? Is it his blessing? Is it safety? Is it their identity? Like, what will they lack because of someone else's bad decision, bad behavior, whatever? Why is the enemy now within? I talked about being harmful to their own community. And I want to think about, what does this say about leadership or spiritual failure? That was just kind of a question for myself. Last two verses, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. If a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and of strong drink, he shall even be the prophet of his people. Reverend Nelson said, another sister, Latasha, the mercy of God is being extended to his people through Micah as it was through Amos. And I agree with you on that. Like, anytime I see God sending somebody to try to get them back on track, like, that is just such a picture of his grace. I cannot disagree with you on that. All right. So again, the people, who is this group? Those being told to arise and depart. They are listed in here. So I want to identify those. Who are these false prophets? And then there's a phrase here used, this people. And I feel like these verses feel like a warning, right? A warning. Get out of there. This place is not good. The word used, why? Get out of there. You're not going to rest here. That's all in verse 10. And then when you see the word because, you should always circle the word because. It's going to give you the reason. This place is polluted. And when I thought about polluted, I absolutely thought about like even water being polluted or contaminated. It's not good for you. It's got things in here that are harmful. Like, get out. That's kind of what I actually wrote on my paper. Get out. Did y'all see the movie Get Out? Get out. All right. And when I read that, how did it feel? What emotions? I feel like this was urgent. This didn't seem like, listen, you got some time. Take the next 30 days and see if it fits. No, arise. That's an action word. That's a call. These two verses start with two imperatives. Arise, get out. Arise, get out. That's the instructions here, right? So it feels urgent here. It feels like a divine warning. And then there's some sarcasm to me in verse 11. So that's why I said it made me feel that way. But these images, again, this urgency of being in a place that is toxic or polluted, right? That's full of deception, that's got wine as a distraction. And then the phrase that sort of stood out for me is that he shall even be the prophet of this people. I want to kind of figure out, what I want to do with that. What does that mean? So again, because of this feeling of get out, it made me think about the danger of, I really didn't think of it as just like disobedience, but the danger of not recognizing urgency, right? And in this case, it is and that's the question I have. What is the danger of staying in a place that's been compromised, a place that's been polluted? What were the dangers? And I feel like, God is saying to them, if you want all this fluff, then that's the kind of leader you're going to get. If that's what's important to you, I will give you that. And it just made me think more about like spiritual compromise and really thinking about how we as individuals can get both distracted and diluted by messaging that comes through a certain package or with a certain look or a certain sound. So I wanted to know, when I saw this word polluted, what exactly is polluted? Is it and I use the word toxic. Like, what is toxic? Is it the environment? Is it the land? Is it the leadership? Is it the people? Like, what about this land is polluted? How did the people become so addicted to soft prophecy? Like, how did they develop that appetite to they couldn't even handle truth? And then lastly, what would a true prophet say instead of what they were hearing, what they were receiving, what they were okay with? Hey, Sister Faye McClain, I'm glad you're here. I agree. These lessons have made me reflect on our community and injustices. Absolutely. And I believe that we are called to more than showing up and being cute on Sunday morning. I really do. And I do think about, like, what has God called us to in the earth? What are we supposed to be doing? You know, how do we use our places responsibly? Hey, Sister Patty Walden. Y'all welcome, Sister Patty, first timer in Atlanta, Georgia. I pray that you stay safe. I didn't understand what was going on this week when friends like Pastor Rodney Jones said he was stuck in Florida. And then I later would hear it was like this extreme weather in Atlanta. So I pray that you fared well in whatever this hailstorm, really bad stuff was. All right. That was an earring that fell. All right. That's all I've got for you all for this week. Again, I'll be back. I'll be back sometime this week. Yeah. In my dreams, it'd be tomorrow, but can't promise you that. And I'm doing a little bit of traveling this week. So best case scenario is tomorrow. Worst case scenario, Saturday morning. That's the worst case scenario. But what I'm going to ask you to do is keep your notifications set. And I will be back on to review this lesson. The TSSG notes, though, will be up early in the week, and I will post. I hope you're following me on Facebook and Instagram, because I typically will post on social media when the notes become available. So I love y'all so much. Again, I hope to see you in Phoenix, Arizona, if you're attending the AIM convention, but I'll definitely see you later this week. Y'all take care. Bye.